Hello and welcome to Tech is for Everyone, the podcast series that deep dives into tech professionals' journeys using their experience to get you the best hints and tips to break into the world of tech. Just starting your career or looking to sidestep into a new industry or wanting to climb through the ranks, tune in and get ready to be inspired. On this episode, I'm joined by our very own tech career changer, Shazma Astle, Strategic Partnerships Consultant at Corecom Consulting. Shazma's dedication, passion, drive and commitment to switching from a career in hospitality to tech is beyond amazing. This is not one you'll want to miss. Shazma and I talk about what prompted her to look at tech as a career, ED&I, and what any good podcast should talk about. Marvel. Tune in to hear. Yeah, so thank you for coming in to see me.
Oh, it's a pleasure, James. Always a pleasure.
Shazma, you are Strategic Partnerships Consultant.
I am indeed.
At Corecom Consulting.
I am, yes.
Good. Do you want to explain what that means?
Yes. So my role within Corecom, I'm very lucky to be working in Corecom. I came across Corecom about a year ago at an event. As many people know, we do exceptional events. And they took me on and they developed a role for me, which was very kind of them, where my job and role is to work with scale-ups, small, medium, large-sized companies, build partnerships, build relationships, talk to them about our process, about the quality of work that we provide, and when it comes to either tech recruitment within their organisation, so they've got a trusted partner on board that they can rely on, that understands their needs and challenges. Second part of what I do is I work with yourself on the Corecom Technology Academy, which is something that I'm extremely proud to be working on and be part of, where you know what you do, but you source companies.
Hopefully.
Anybody else does.
Yeah.
Source companies, beforehand, so we've got jobs guaranteed for the people that we train up to put them into tech roles, and people that are from deprived backgrounds, low socioeconomic backgrounds, giving them the equal opportunity alongside graduates to apply for these roles.
Yep.
And then also I get to work with Dom on diversity, equity and inclusion, which is something that we started within Corecom ourselves, and both Dom and Chloe, went through quite a bit of training themselves, and something that we started within our organisations for ourselves, for our people, so that when we're recruiting candidates, we're living by the values that we preach, i.e. we're looking out and taking into consideration diversity, and in line with that, are we treating people with equity? Are we being inclusive when we're putting candidates forward to other companies, to companies that we work with? So really lucky, but then we branched out, and now we provide that service also to small to medium businesses that don't have that representative within their organisation. Not everybody's a large organisation that can afford to have somebody dedicated to that. So now we provide workshops and ongoing support to other companies.
Sorry, so it keeps you busy then?
Very busy indeed. But I love it. I really enjoy it. So
that's the main thing. As long as you do enjoy it.
Absolutely.
So what does technology mean to you?
So I suppose technology has been part of my life. All of us, when we first got the bricks, when we were younger, I'm not that old, but I am. When I think it was a Sony Ericsson, and that was obviously telly. We watched telly as kids, and I remember at the time it was one day you'll be able to see somebody through the phone, and I was like, what am I? Yeah, right. And it came true. And I just thought, and that's when it sort of started clicking. And obviously, as I progressed in my career, what a big part technology plays in our lives, and how progressive it is, and how it evolves, and at such a pace. I never thought in my lifetime I'd be talking to people. I mean, I used to watch. I sound a bit old. I don't care. I used to watch Star Trek, and they used to talk to each other, visually. I'm like, no way are we ever going to do that, and we do, and we are. So, God knows what we'll be doing within the next 10 to 15 to 20 years. So technology for me is progression and evolving of us. I feel like we're in the technology revolution, just like we were once in the industrial revolution. This is the next revolution.
This is the next bit.
Yeah, that's what it means to me, to be part of it. So
until AI takes over everything.
No, let's not be negative, let's be positive. AI is a big one. It's a huge debate at the minute. And there's a big debate on who's creating this AI. It's really a male-dominated industry at the moment. So what sort of view and trail of thought will AI have? And I used to be the one, what was it? I'm a big sort of Marvel fan. And what was it? What's the one that...
Vision that's made.
Is it Vision?
Yeah.
No,
Vision
no,
is.
the one with when he's like Wolverine's in it, and that's not Marvel, but
But it is,
Wolverine.
yeah. It's Marvel, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, X-Men's Marvel, yeah.
X-Men, yeah,
Yeah.
it is, yeah. And I'm a big Marvel fan, so but not that big because I didn't
Yeah.
And Wolverine, and one of the last ones where AI takes over.
I've not seen the last one.
Yeah, I haven't watched it for a while. I usually watch them on a loop every 5 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, and
So
AI takes over.
You need to start watching again.
Yeah, I do.
It's been 5 years.
But it's but in that it says it's AI takes over, and I think we are aware enough to realise that we need to stop.
We've all seen Terminator.
Yeah.
We know where this story's headed.
Yeah. Well, hopefully us females and various people will get involved, and we can make a joint effort to sort things out.
It's weird, isn't it? It's like you see those examples, don't you, where it's already got a particular bias or prejudice written into the AI, because obviously it's learning from prejudices that have been written on the internet, etc., etc. So.
Well, they were talking about that in our event the other day, weren't they? When it comes to recruitment processes, and this one system, AI system, completely excluded all female applications.
Females, yeah, it's so bad.
So being aware of that is so important for your organisation.
Yeah. So did you always want to work in tech? Because obviously I know that you haven't always.
No.
But did you always want to work in it? Was it something that just progressed over time? Or?
It definitely progressed over time. Didn't always want. I'm a real people person, in case you haven't noticed. Always people facing, really excelled in my career where I was from hospitality.
Yeah.
Spent 24 years in hospitality. And my last role was brand operations director for individual restaurants. And I had a great time there, and I really developed myself, my skills. But technology just kept growing in my role, the contribution it made towards our progress.
Yeah.
It started off with just the till systems in the restaurant, didn't it? And then as I progressed and became a director, we had an entire IT team and function and data and loyalty app and all the data that we accumulated. So slowly, and this was like 8 to 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Slowly, it creeps into every part, and you realise how much of an important part it plays to progress, whether that's in sales, whether that's in culture, in your workplace, everything. It's got a huge impact on, and so I decided, you know what, and I'm going to hold my hand up here. I was a bit of a technophobe.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and I had people that did everything for me, so I didn't need to. And I thought, you know what, Shazma, you're 42, and you make a decision now. Yeah, you're going to embrace it and take it on.
Yeah.
We're going to carry on hiding from it. So I completely turned a corner, changed my career, left hospitality, and went in all of me into tech, really. Transitioned into the tech community.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How long have you spent kind of within that community? Because I know, obviously I know you're big into community, but for the listeners.
Oh, I love the tech community. I think I've told you 1,000 times probably. I love the Leeds tech community.
Yeah.
I find them extremely collaborative and supportive of each other. I wouldn't be where I am today without the support of my allies and people within Leeds that are in this tech community. But I've been in it since February 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 2 years plus.
2 years plus. I did a diploma in digital marketing in November 2021.
Right.
And that sort of put me into my first role in digital marketing.
Yeah.
And then I got to product own and work alongside a great CEO on her app to support the mental health and well-being of health and social care professionals called Mind Yourself app.
Right, okay.
So I was lucky enough to work as the product owner on that project. Really enjoyed it, worked with a dev team, design team. Got to go in with the videographer, sound producer. So every aspect of the app I worked on, which was really rewarding, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, so you'll see something from almost start to finish.
From start to finish, and then work on it whilst it went live to improve the features, following data, etc. So yeah, really enjoyed that. And then that sort of came to its end, and I was lucky enough to work with Stuart Clark, who many people know of in Leeds, and work with him as the coordinator of Leeds Digital Festival.
Yeah.
And absolutely loved that, because I was privy to so many events, Met so many different people from the tech world, communicated with, assisted them, and just really learned a lot more. Oh my God, there's so much to tech. There's so many roles. There's so many, this myth about working with tech is, and I know everybody says it, but working within tech, you have to be a software developer, engineer, etc. And it's just absolute codswallop, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can be part of this community like me, as a strategic partnerships consultant, or somebody that just builds relationships. I'm still on that journey. I'm not at the end of my journey, but bloody hell, I've learned so much up until now. And I think that's what I wanted at 42. I wanted to just start learning again and learning something different.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky that I'm in it now to answer your question.
Yeah, definitely.
Good.
So what's the one thing about your role now, or the experiences you've had maybe over the last 2 years that you didn't expect?
Ooh, there's a few things actually. My role now, what I didn't expect, it's bloody hard. Okay, it's really tough, and I suppose I really want to talk about this transition into tech. It's so possible. There are so many people that will want to support you, but when you're applying and you're going via application forms, they don't see you, they just see your CV, and you're going to get lots of rejections. And I didn't anticipate that, because I was mingling and networking with this community that was just so uplifting, and especially as a woman in tech, God, part of organizations like Wild and Lean in Leeds, these great women in tech organizations within Leeds. And, I had a lot of support. I built some great allies, and that's how I got into each role. I did not get into any role through application forms. I have had so many rejections. So, what I've learned is, and the advice that I would give to anybody that's transitioning into tech is ensure that you're resilient. And I hate that word resilient, because it can mean so many things. But just be positive. Constantly try it and be positive and think, you know what, I've got knocked back again. I'm going to apply again. I'm going to apply again. I'm going to keep building my network and keep building my network, because it's your network that's going to get you into the role. It's going to be somebody that you say, oh, do you know what? I've applied for a role in your company, and they'll say, do you know? Oh, really? Okay. Well, I'm going to put a good word in for you, or I'm going to recommend somebody for you, because there'll be people that are helping you. Because you're transitioning, your CV won't show unless you've exclusively worked in a tech company. That the guards, the talent acquisition managers, the guards that are
There's a lot of transferable skills out there that you can't necessarily easily write on a piece of paper. Stakeholder management skills. You can write stakeholder management skills, but actually getting across your personality, examples that you've been in where you've used those skills. A lot of the softer skills that aren't necessarily just techie skills that can be taught. The technical skills can be taught.
They're learnable, aren't they?
But I agree. There's a lot of other attributes that aren't necessarily seen on paper.
Good management skills, good people skills, personality. These aren't seen, So I just think it's important to keep building your network. That's one of my pieces of advice.
So if you were to do another job in tech, like if you weren't doing this job, what tech job would you do?
So I really enjoyed product ownership.
Right.
So I definitely would be a product owner.
Yeah.
I did quite a bit of it in my previous role as operations director as well. I worked with the company to create the loyalty app, and various products and projects within the company. That's what I enjoy. It's very fulfilling, and then you get to continue to improve a product. And because I've got such strong leadership skills, and I'm really good at galvanizing a team and getting everybody on board. So and also I'm forward thinking. So I think, and I'm very sales orientated, how to improve. So I think if there was any other role, that's what I'd do.
That's what you do. Nice. So what's the most important lesson you've learned through your career?
Bloody hell, there's been a few. There's been a few. But I think the most important lesson, and sometimes it can take you a few years to realise it, is to be happy in your work.
Right.
So important.
So
important. I loved my job in hospitality. I loved it. I thrived. I progressed. And then all of a sudden, I was just like, it's time for change. And this is my lesson, that you just got to be happy. You spend most of your time at work with your colleagues, be it working from home or working in the office, you're working with other people, or working in this area. You've
Yeah.
The positivity. Yeah, that's my most important lesson. There's no explanation really. Everybody understands that more or less. What do you think?
Yeah.
What's yours?
What's mine? I think the most important lesson from a recruitment point of view, from when I did recruitment, was never assume.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
I'm just learning that.
Never assume.
Yeah.
That, and kind of always asking one more question, or with the assumption of the one more question can actually be clarifying what you've understood, so that you're not assuming.
Yeah.
I think that's really important.
Really important. I learnt that years ago, but in a different role, and it's bizarre how I didn't bring it with me. And just sometimes you assume that people mean a certain thing or didn't mean a certain thing.
Yeah.
No, assume, just ask. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy,
Exactly.
isn't it?
I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a light bulb moment for me. Yeah, probably 10 years or so ago, maybe now. An old manager called Jim Mosley. So
Yeah.
he was a good one.
Oh yeah. Fantastic.
So, what would you say is kind of the, what kind of strengths does someone need to be successful in your sort of role?
In my role,
Yeah,
you've got to really like talking to people.
Yeah,
which is I love.
Which is fortunate that you do.
You've got to have that strength of talking to people, and you've got to have that get up and go to places to meet people.
Yeah,
you can't sit on your bum and expect people to come to you. You got to go out and get them and source them and find them and talk to them. And they could be, I tell you, in any role within any company, you've got to be focused as to what you're targeting. But you learn from so much, so you've just got to be outgoing in my role, I think.
Yeah.
And you've got to have a memorable, you don't have to have a memorable personality. It just works really well for me.
Yeah.
It's just that, and you got to, and that word again, resilient.
Yeah.
Resilient.
Yeah.
And just, I don't let things get me down now. If somebody, doesn't want to meet up, they don't want to meet up, it's fine.
Yeah.
I've got no agenda. I just love having a chat and a coffee, and learning new stuff from them. Yeah. So, yeah.
I think from my take on that as well is almost at the start, and I read something actually by Dr. Marmee, who obviously spoke at our event, about the best public speakers started off being bad public speakers.
Yeah.
And it's kind of making yourself comfortable being uncomfortable. So, okay, you might not feel comfortable going into a room and networking with people, but you don't have to go into a room and speak to 20 people. Start by speaking to one or two, and then at your next event, speak to 3 or 4. And, it's just by doing it ultimately that you start to become comfortable with doing things.
Really good advice, James. Completely agree with you. I don't know if you met Matt Wheeler at the event. He's from Made by Studio, and right. They're based in Leeds, and they build sustainable websites for companies, which I think is great. And he recently sent out a post, and he said exactly the same thing. He was a complete introvert, didn't like going out, took on the role within the company of just dealing with operational as opposed to client facing. And he said that it would cause him anxiety, which is probably the case for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then it was about taking small steps and going into a room. And you know what? Don't speak to who you don't want to speak to. Just speak to 1 or 2 people that you want to speak to. You don't have to join a conversation that you don't want to. Giving yourself that choice. Stop putting yourself in that difficult position. And it's a great post by him, actually. If anybody can find it, they should read it.
Yeah.
I just love that authenticity that you get on LinkedIn these days. And again, everyone's like, authenticity is such an overused word. I'm flipping out. Okay, it's overused, so what? Yeah. It's a really good word, right?
But I think you can cut through the stuff that is authentic and isn't. There's some posts that are trying to appear to be authentic that have got too many spaces in, have clearly been written by, either a bot or someone else, or, contextualizing something that just doesn't make sense.
Yes.
And then you've got the posts that actually are authentic and meaningful.
And heartfelt.
And
are there to assist others, because the more we are truthful about ourselves, the more strength we give to others to feel okay about how they're feeling.
Yeah. And, a lot's changed in the last even 10 years, 14 years, however long I've been in tech for. A lot has changed that you can actually, almost bring your true self to work nowadays, whereas actually 14 years ago, definitely not. You were doing a post on LinkedIn that was kind of, someone stood there and you're going, please don't hate me, world.
Like, oh, only 3 so far.
Yeah, so cool.
You know, things have changed.
So, do you have a favourite productivity hack or any sort of tools that are indispensable to the job that you do now?
So productivity, that's 2 different things for me.
Okay.
A productivity hack is that I'm no good sitting down in one place for too long. So
Right. Okay.
Every 25 minutes, I've got a little timer on, and I get up and I do something.
Yeah.
Pop to the loo, make a cup of tea, just walk up and down and sit back down again. Because that stimulates, obviously, we know that the blood circulating in your body is better for your brain. And I find that then allows me to be very productive.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is that tool-wise, it's not underrated at all. It's great, LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn is a great tool. I didn't realise the value of it, true value of it, until I started this job.
Yeah.
Because it's just opened so many doors for me. Just a casual conversation, you know, I get to meet some amazing people, have some fantastic conversations with some really senior people within companies, because people are happy to talk about what they do. And I enjoy learning, and you know, I'm still on my journey, and I enjoy listening to them, and then I enjoy talking about myself, as you can tell.
I think you're right though. I think if you use LinkedIn for really what it initially was intended for, which is building, you know, networks for knowledge sharing and being connected to like-minded individuals within your industry, it's a great tool, and not just seeing it as I can ping out 25 million sales messages to people and fingers crossed something
Somebody,
sticks.
fair enough, it'll stick eventually. No.
So I was going to say you've given quite a lot of advice, but do you have one piece of advice for people listening?
Oh, I've got loads. And some of it's really like a bit wet. Family is everything, and it's not to do with tech. It's just family. Make time for your family.
Yeah. I
didn't do that for so many years.
Right.
I didn't. Not intentionally. Just got caught up with work. I was in a high pressure job, and it wasn't because the company I worked for expected that of me. It was, I suppose, a lot of it was put on by myself. You know, I was dedicated to my role. I enjoyed it. I loved it. Completely engrossed, and I really, you know, I did really well in it.
Yeah.
But you know, I've got 3 boys, and you know, 2 of them, Louis and Rowan, you know, I missed a lot of their childhood. And their dad, they're lucky they had dad at home. So Adrian became a house husband, and I was out working. But you know, luckily I've got Flynn now, who I can spend loads of time with. Probably sick of me. But yeah, family's really important. No matter what you do, just make sure you've got boundaries at work. Create those boundaries and live by those boundaries, and be disciplined according to them. Yeah. Because you know, before you know it, things happen. And, you know, you don't want to live with regrets. So I've got 2 elderly parents as well. Well, I had got 1 left now, but you know, just being there, I managed to spend the last couple of years spending good time with them. I had some scares. My husband had prostate cancer.
Right, gosh.
So, you know, and that was a big scare at the time. You know, look, he's fine now. But you know, these things occur. You know, his mum passed away. Eye-opening, and you just think to yourself, God, life's too short. So create boundaries at work. There's nothing wrong with it. There's no shame in it. It's not a negative. It's actually a positive. It shows that you've got time for each thing. You know how to allocate time, and you're organised. And create boundaries and live by them, and share time with your family.
I love that. I mean, I would add to that. I mean, it's your piece of advice, so I'm not taking credit for it. But I think when you do create boundaries, and realising the importance of that, you know, as a father of 3 young children myself, it actually makes you work harder in the time that you're in work, because you realise more why you do what you do for your family. So
absolutely
I
right.
love that.
Completely right. It disciplines you to be more productive when you do work. Completely right.
So we've time for one more question.
Oh, another one.
And it's a question for you. It's, what's the one question you wish I'd have asked you?
You're going to hate this now.
And how would you have answered?
What's my favourite Marvel movie?
How much is it? We'll see if we can agree.
Well, it's 3. It's Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy.
What, 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah, I love them. I thought they were 8.
I think number 1 and 3. Number 2, I'm a little bit.
I don't know. I was just grateful there was a number 2.
I'm glad we did this because I didn't realise that you were such a Marvel buff. I love Marvel as well.
Oh,
so,
great. Well, then that's it.
Yeah,
we can have lots of conversations.
Just have lots of Marvel chat after this.
Yeah, Star-Lord, like, he rocks it, doesn't he? Great characters. Love them all. I can reenact quite a few of the characters, but not,
Can you?
not
But
right
not
now.
here.
I'll do it in a minute.
Right, well, that's a topic of conversation for later then.
I think so.
Thank you for chatting with me.
Oh, absolute pleasure, James.
Thanks for
having
sharing
me.
the knowledge.
Appreciate
And the
being
love.
here.
Thank you for listening to Tech is for Everyone. If you're looking to start your career in tech or want to know more about how our academy can help grow and diversify your teams, then find us on LinkedIn, Instagram, or via the Corecom Tech Academy website. Links can be found in the description. Look forward to having you join us on the next episode.